Welcome in week 2, Rowdy reviews. This one's the Daytona 500. And yeah, let's just start with Gavin.
Yeah, so just I got a lot to talk about, but I also don't, if that makes sense. So we'll kind of we'll go ahead and get right into the we're gonna do this in order here. Why am I okay?
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry people. I'm looking at the screen, not the camera. That's my bad. But anyway, I'm just gonna dive right into lap 1 and go straight to lap 200. I'm gonna do like a short recap here and my opinions on kind of things that took place in the race. So clearly got 10-15 laps in. We ran 15 laps, and then the only big one before the end of the race kind of happened there with Bell getting into the back of the 10 and starting the big one. I don't know what anybody's opinion is on that, but well, a lot of people on Twitter they just say it's Kyle's fault, which is pretty typical for any time Kyle's in the picture. They're going to say it's Kyle's fault. That's just the way it is. So me personally, I don't think it was anybody's fault. Just I think that you got a couple guys up there that are just upcomers, kind of, if you will. Bell was up there. We got a couple other guys up there, and what would happen is Kyle got such a big run that you can't just drive off the track, and you can't just slam on your brakes. He had nowhere to go. He gave Bell a push, and then Bell went into the 10. It's nobody else's fault that the 10 was in the way. So yeah, that kind of started the first wreck, and then we were rain delayed for about 6.5 hours. If I'm wrong, correct me.
Yeah.
And we went green at 9 o'clock. And as I expected, ran top 5 all night, had one of the best cars in the field besides the 11. We stayed with the 11 all night. I feel like all the Toyotas stuck together all night for the most part, and we were up front. And then that was pretty much it. We were up there running top 5 all night, and then nothing crazy happened in the race, and then we were just in the big one on the last lap, running. Can't even tell you where we were running on the last lap because I was so frustrated about it. But we were in the top 10, and then as I expected, the Penske drivers took each other out and then just started the big one. I kind of saw that coming from a mile away, especially Brad. He's been wanting this race more than it. I mean, all of them want it so bad, but Brad, I could see it in Brad's eyes that this is the race he's been wanting for like forever. And then right when I saw that he was in the position he was in, I knew he was going to do something like that to try to get up there and try to win. And it just kind of ruined everybody's race at the end. And then me and Nick, we both listened to Kyle's radio, and I about damn near had a panic attack because, when the car stopped or when the wreck was kind of ending, Tony was asking if Kyle was all right, and there's no response. And my don't really want to assume that Kyle was hurt, but at the same time, I'm just thinking that he was just so frustrated that he unhooked everything and was just trying to get out. And that's obviously what happened. But yeah, I guess we'll have to go another year with that empty spot sitting in the trophy case.
So got a lot of thoughts about that race. Race started pretty good. Started 8th, 6th, ran up front for the beginning, and then crash happened. I thought you could have put some of the blame on Bell, and then you saw they showed like the gas tracker, whatever you want to call it. And he did try to lift, and he did what he could to try to avoid it, and it still didn't happen. So I don't think it's really Bell's fault. I mean, just push gone wrong. Amarola got loose on the bottom, like went below the apron, went back up, and another push just ruined it. And then the long delay. That's what it is. Daytona, never going to change, especially with the late start times. And then they got back to racing. ran in a train, which I expected. It doesn't really bother me because you just got to make it to the end. But then I felt like I don't know, there wasn't enough cars at the end to make a move, but it got down to 20 laps and you're waiting for something to happen. 10 laps, 5 laps. It's like, fuck, when are they going to make a move? You expect chaos to ensue, and they just sat there. And when I saw the Fords were like 1-5, I knew that's exactly how I was going to go. Just hoping anyone could break up Logano and trying to make the move. No, there's never enough Toyotas. I mean, they got like a mini ally with Chevrolets, but everyone's fair game in the last lap. At first, yeah, when that crash happened, first I thought he was the one in the air, but then it was Brad. I saw the fire, I didn't know he was on fire. Heard the radio call, and yeah, I pretty much did have a panic attack until they show him get out of the car. I had a bunch of flashbacks. Newman not responding and radioactive. They've been playing all week, and then I didn't know if he was hurt, like concussion, passed out, broken limbs, whatever. And then yeah, he was probably less upset after the race than I was, but I don't know how people can just keep praising this race. It's so prestigious. What's just a game of luck and hoping you don't get hurt. I don't know. It's pretty shitty to watch every year, but
Like, yeah, kind of like you said, goes back to having flashbacks. Like, cause this whole week I've been watching the what's his name, Graham Bensinger did a series of Kyle Busch Motorsports, and one of those episodes was like literally strictly on the Daytona crash and on his comeback and everything. And Samantha was talking about her, if you will, golden rule on her and Kyle made an agreement to where if he gets in a bad crash or whatever, for him to say I'm good or just respond with something. And Kyle just gets so irritated and gets so mad, beat up in the moment that his shit's already disconnected before he could say anything. So yeah, it kind of worries all of us that because I'm sure we're not the only ones that listen to the scanner, but there's like a handful of people on Twitter tonight saying that he didn't respond with anything. And I mean, we both know that because we listen every week, but yeah. And then like you said, Newman last year and then all that. And, when I first saw it, like I saw like the ball of fire like immediately when he made contact, because I knew it was us immediately because I was following like that last lap, the last lap of every race. If he's in the picture, he's the only car I'm watching.
Yeah.
And clearly I saw Brad hit the wall, and then obviously I saw him just come and rush. I knew he was the car that hit him. And I'm just like, wow, that was like going like 180, 190 miles an hour right there. And like, that was a hard hit. And then I didn't know if we were the car on fire or if it was Brad. I think it was Brad, but and then, after all that, they showed about the first 3 or 4 guys climbing out, and he was the last of them that climbed out. So I'm just like, the first time they showed his car sitting there, he was still not out of the car. So I'm like, oh, he wasn't responding on the radio. So that's when I was starting to get really worried. Was didn't hear anything on the radio. Then they showed his car and he was still in it. And then I saw him climbing out. I'm like, okay, I don't really think we'll have anything much to be worried about. And he did his interview. He was fine, obviously, but it's like, yeah, I'm getting to the point to where I'm like, I'm done being excited over this race. It's you could weird force of the race like Denny did, and look what happened. So it's it just gets more frustrating every year because we have better cars each year. We come here and then something like that happens. Like last year we blew up, and this year we were just in a crash. So like you said, it's just a game of luck. That's all it is.
Yeah, you get excited every year for this Daytona 500 prestige. And then you play the game where it's like you never. I don't know about many other racing fans, but you want to watch for excitement racing. People view that as crashing, and I got to play the game in my head during the race, whether about hoping other people get crashed, so they're eliminated. There's less people to challenge, and then they're down to 15 cars in a pack, and that still happens. So you can't hope for a fast car at this place. You just got to hope that everyone crashes and you're the last one standing. And then the package they got, the runs are so big. And then you got certain people like Joey who block a family member, teammate, whoever it is. Just, I mean, Daytona, but his block is way too late. Just like his 50 blocks he threw in the Clash last year, and Kyle would have got by it if it was just Joey spinning, but Brad tried to make an instant turn to the, I don't know, he tried to make like a instant turn to the right, try to get by him so he can go on for the win, but he had that outside line open until Brad slid up. He still would have finished like 5th or something, but I saw the crash. And then when I saw the safety crew by his car and they were just like talking, he wasn't climbing out yet. That made me feel like he was all right. I didn't know if something like hurt him and he didn't want to put any pressure on something. And then, yeah, I saw him get out. And then the moment I saw him get out, I just was more frustrated than I was worried. You watch racing for close battles and stuff, but this pack racing, I don't know. It gets tiring. It's not that fun. I mean, you could say because I'm a Kyle fan, oh, you're just saying that about super speedway racing because Kyle's not good at it. Well, he's got 200 wins, and I don't think you do that without having some sort of skill in the sport. So, super speedway racing's 50% luck, 50% skill. Denny has skill. Got screwed on the pit stop because there's 3 Toyotas in the pack, and had to pit with them, and tried everything he could to go charge up to the front. And there was no one to help him. I don't know. It's Talladega. I'm not looking forward to Talladega either.
I'm not looking forward to any of the super speedways from here on out, just because I already know what to expect every time. Even this year, it's the only reason I get excited for this race is because we're going racing for the first time in how many 2-3 months. That's the only reason I get excited about it. But if we, since we're going racing, we got a handful of tracks in between the next super speedway, but that doesn't mean that means I'm not going to be excited for it because we're in the middle of the racing season. So I already know what's going to happen at Talladega. I already know what's going to happen at Daytona too. And I already know what's going to happen at Talladega too. Same shit every year. I know I'm sorry that I am I don't know. I'm negative, but this is just how I get after. I feel like I just wasted my time watching 2.5 hours of that. And it's I don't know if anybody heard Harvick's interview, but he said he hit it he hit the nail with the hammer right on the head on saying how he thought the whole race was weird. I thought it was weird too how they'll run single file up until the last lap of the stage and then all of a sudden want to if you will clutter together and then try to make something happen. And it kind of reminded me of the older days, if you will, trying to when it was actually legal to 2-car tandem and to actually draft that, lock bumpers. That's technically what they were doing with 2 to go left in the stage, trying to get up there. But the first 50 laps of every stage tonight was single file, and it was horrible. It was just there's times where I felt like I was gonna fall asleep because it was so bad. And, yeah, just I'm excited for any more of the super speedways this year because it's the same thing ever since NASCAR ruined it with the package, and with all these rules now you can't really it's just not exciting. I mean, it's unsafe. It's unsafe and boring, flat out. That's all I have to say about it. Just, you're risking your lives because you can't get out there and make anything happen. You can't make crazy moves, try to win the race, because you're going to risk hurting somebody or yourself. So it's like tonight. I mean, nobody got hurt. That's a great thing. As much as I would have wanted a wreck to happen, I don't wish upon any driver, especially, I mean, even my worst enemy, to get hurt. Man, that's good. Nobody got hurt tonight. But it's like, I don't know. I did see that coming, though. I saw that Logano just didn't. I don't think Logano realized how much of a run Brad had. He had that huge shove from the 34, and he was like already there. And Logano just cuts across his nose, and then it was on.
Yeah, I say a lot of.
But no, I feel like he kind of deserved that one.
Yeah.
No, because Brad was in it. So I personally like Brad more than Joey, but that's Brad's somewhat grown on me over the years, or not over the years, but just here lately. I feel like he's been like more okay than he used to be. But I don't know. It's just it is good. Like you said, it just gets frustrating watching the same thing every year. You get all excited for like a new start, and then it's the same thing, literally.
Yeah, I say a lot of stuff to blow off steam after the race, and my dad texted me after the race about how he felt about it, and I kind of believe it, but I said Kyle would be safer in a 230 mile per hour Indy car around Indianapolis than he would around this track. Like, you always see Indy cars stop going to ovals because of the danger. You see F1 never goes to ovals, and Italy is the closest thing they have to it, and there's a reason for that, because it's dangerous, and it's to the point where super speedway racing's got like that. The cars are going, they took the restrictor plates off. They're still going the same speed, but the runs are bigger. People don't know how to block. The crashes are elevated because instead of trying to miss a crash, they just try to floor it and get by it. And then, I don't know, the safety's come a long way, but I don't see like the roof flaps, the impacts that the cars are taking. That they just keep taking off. Like, Newman got hit last year, flew up into the air. Kyle hit Brad, he flew into the fence. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen the roof flaps be much of a problem, but I feel like they haven't worked as much lately, and I feel like they can do more to the cars with the bodies. I don't know if the next gen's going to help anything, but I feel like there's a science to it where the impacts could make less serious crashes than what you see on TV.
And going through the mid 2000s, like 13, 14, 15, around that area. Well, obviously, setting aside the car of tomorrow with the wing, we knew that every time we go to a track like that, somebody's going to end up flipping. Either way, it happened. Every plate race, we had somebody flipping with the wing on the back, and we were starting to get that way kind of in I don't know if it was 14 or 15. Remember in the duel when Boyer flipped over coming to the finish there, and and you're gonna have stuff like that happen still. And I haven't seen anything like super crazy like that. I mean, within the past couple of years, we've had, well, Brendan Gaughan's deal in 19 at Talladega. That was another big one, but it's like I didn't think I'd see another crazy wreck like that in these cars until I saw Newman's. After seeing his wreck, I'm just like, if NASCAR feels like they've done everything they needed to do to these cars to make them safer, then like, I don't know, this is as safe as it's gonna get. Like I don't know, like because when he went all the way up in the air, that's after he got hit by the 32. But he was already upside down after he had hit the wall, the outside wall. And like I don't know that it's crazy that NASCAR claims that they've done every little thing they can do to make these cars and tracks safer. Does that mean that we're just going to flip upside down every time we go to these tracks? I don't know. It's hard telling. Like I don't make the rules. I don't make the cars. And yeah, I never thought I'd see it like anything crazy like that again. Like especially with this package. You know what I mean? That was just me. I mean, that was a crazy finish last year.
Yeah, I mean, the last lap, like you said, I follow Kyle. The second I saw a run being formed, I was following Kyle. I saw the crash. I saw all that happen. I didn't even know who won. Like I didn't look at the front. I didn't care who won. And yeah, every time they go to these tracks, you play the game good. We avoided the wreck. We'll be there at the end. Keep saying that, then you are in the crash. I'm at the point where it's like I'd rather be in the first big one just so I can stop worrying the whole race and trying to play out how he's going to be there in the end when something's just going to happen. Talladega, he crashed like 3 times, and the third time finally wiped him out. I was playing the whole game like, oh, these guys crashed, so there's some more spots he can gain. That shouldn't be how you watch racing. Like I was younger. I used to thrive for that stuff. I've gotten more into F1 IndyCar clean style racing. It's like, the fastest car deserves to win, and crashes should be mistakes and not praised. And I feel like with most of the fan base in NASCAR, people praise crashes. And I feel like Tony Stewart's interview, like decade ago, about how speedway races are, that's just how it is. Like people aren't happy unless there's crashes.
Yeah, it's like it's not racing if you have to hope for a crash just to freaking finish the race well or finish the race if that like or to win the race, like that's how I feel like Daytona is. I mean, you better hope that the other 39 cars wreck and you're the winner. And that's how I feel like it is anymore. Like you go in with that mindset, either that or just have luck, which the only thing you need luck with is to not get in a crash. So
yeah,
and you can't sit here and pussyfoot in the back all day because you're not gonna. Those guys are gonna start going. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be too little, too late. And then when you said that, kind of like you said, these guys that they try to avoid wrecks, they mash the gas and try to get through it instead of like slowing down and getting through it. And then when you mash the gas to get through it, you're in it somehow, some way. So
yeah, it's like I love watching clean racing. I was happy Friday night in the truck race because my favorite Chandler Smith passed like 10 guys that crashed in the last on the trial. Well, I'm happy that they all crashed, so he gained 10 spots. Is that how you're supposed to cheer for your favorite driver? Say you like Chase Elliott for all the Chase fans. Chase is in 15th on the last lap. 10 cars wreck in front of him, and he gets a top 5, and they're happy with that. We're happy because our driver got a good finish, but we get to watch millions of dollars of race cars get torn up. And no, like I didn't watch the Xfinity race, so I don't know exactly what happened, but Gregson missed a crash, and some idiot just came flying in like Dylan did in 2014 at Talladega and wiped him out. So and there's so much strategy and
believe that part. Yeah. Sorry about that, bud.
It's all right. What's up?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I majority of the race. I think I was actually out and about picking up my dinner when Gregson wrecked. But like the deal with the 54 man I mean, I feel like every race this weekend kind of went the same way. And what I mean by that is just every team that we were rooting for, we'll just say all the Toyotas, they're all in it to win it three-fourths through the race. And then when it's crunch time, they all end up in the big one somehow. And like Friday night, the KBM trucks were like looking really strong. And then I think Chandler Smith had that wreck. And I think John Hunter was in one of them. And then I think Drew Dollar crashed coming to the line, was in that big wreck coming to the checkered. And then Xfinity, Ty Dillon. I think Ty Dillon was all to blame there. He first of all, he made a dumb move, and then he tried to block and was stupid with it, and ended up wrecking a lot of good cars there, and took himself out, took Hemrick out, and then a lot of other good cars. And then tonight, all the Toyotas were looking good until their pit strategy didn't work out, and then they all got crashed at the end, riding mid-pack. So yeah, I feel like that was my opinion on the three races. It's just all the Toyotas were looking really strong, and they were looking really good to maybe win. And then just when they try to get down to crunch time, go time, whatever you want to call it, just they all get taken out.
Yeah. So this weekend, pretty tame. I don't know, pretty tame in the sense of Daytona. Truck race was clean for most of the part. There's a couple crashes. The last lap everyone expects. The ARCA package is terrible. You can't get any runs at all. The Xfinity race, I'm yet to watch. I'm about to watch that, but I saw a couple wrecks in there. Finish was about as lame as the ARCA race was. And then 501 crash, everyone gets scared, and then another crash at the end. And it just brings me to think about this whole Daytona, like, oh, it's the Daytona 500. Yeah, yearly, I get to look forward to my driver escaping an injury, possibly. No, definitely a crash. I get to wait at least a couple hours for the rain to dry. It's a 2.5 mile track, so it takes at least an hour and a half, 2 hours to dry the track. You're just sitting there waiting for it to resume. You got this stress, anxiety. Are they going to race today? Are they going to race tomorrow? When you have stuff to do, when you have work, job, whatever, and they get the race in, and then you watch. It's tame. It's single file. People think it's boring, but with how these people drive, with how the guys drive at the end, maybe that's how you have to race the whole time, just because they can't handle a pack like they once used to. Like, single file is boring. A lot of people complain, tweeting about trains on YouTube or on Twitter, and then when one guy makes a move and they get double wide, they forget how to race. 2012, they were 4 wide on the last lap, and they made it through for a while until Tony blocked Michael. But I don't know, people just don't race like they used to anymore.
I got to give a mad shout out to one guy that I've really felt for this whole weekend ever since Friday, and that'd be one of my all-time favorite truck drivers since I've been watching for the past couple of years. Actually, surprisingly, not a Kyle Busch driver, but Mr. Jordan Anderson. Man, that guy is a monster, dude. He freaking came from 11th, I think, on that green white checker to finish like second again. And I feel like I had to mention that because I feel like that's that's been getting slept on a lot. Just that, I mean, because like you said, man, a bunch of people just do nothing but focus on these crashes, and then whoever wins the race, and then they're just like, okay, that's that. Who cares about the rest? That's why the ratings are dying down, because you don't really have people anymore that want to sit and watch a race. They want to watch people crash. So but yeah, dude, it was wild rewinding and watching those last 2 laps. He just flew through there, dude, and like I think he was the one that actually took Austin Wayne's self out down there on the backstretch. But he even apologized for it, man. He's like, I'm sorry to him, but I did what I had to do, and I came up here. And he's got such a positive attitude every time he gets behind a microphone. I love it. Like he's such a great guy. I can't wait till the day comes to where he wins a race, because like I feel like he's got a good personality, man. I think he's a good guy, like good driver too. But I mean, also to mention, that's his second year in a row going there, finishing second in that race. But yeah, I just had to give a shout out to him, because I feel like that got slept on all weekend. I didn't really see a bunch of people talking about that. So
yeah, I felt bad
if you
for him. He got
all you racing fans, if you haven't seen it, all you racing fans, go to YouTube and look up the either watch the full race or to look up the finish of the truck race from Friday night, because it was a good finish.
I felt bad for him. He got screwed out of Xfinity because the rain, so he couldn't qualify. And first race, new team, and I don't know how that's going to work out in the future with no qualifying, but no owner points, no nothing. I hope he even has a chance next week.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We go back to the road course next weekend. I'm not really gonna get like super excited about it, just because you think about it, the Busch Clash win was just a lucky win. I mean, we weren't dominant. We were running like 6th, 7th, 8th all night until that lap, like up until the last couple laps of the race, and then just got lucky that the top 2 cars wrecked each other and we were able to get by it. But yeah. I'm not really super excited about road courses either, just because the 18 team has some work to do on the road course program. I think all the Gibbs cars do, actually.
I'll be excited for Homestead, because that means they're leaving Daytona, and Daytona likes to play the game where we race on the road course where we can race in the rain and it doesn't rain, and then when we have to race on the oval, the clouds come straight for the track. And yeah, I just want to leave the whole track itself, get out of Daytona. Homestead, I can actually watch some fun racing where they go on the wall, they ride the wall, they ride the bottom. You make your own speed. You're not just following another car. The road course, it's fun, but I don't know. If you're not, yeah, I don't know. Road courses have some good finishes. Most of the time, they're all spread out, like we talked about last week. And the way I feel about it, Watkins Glen's the only good road course we got. And unless you're at the road course, at the track, at the race, then it's not real entertaining.
Yeah, which I can say that, because the only road course race I've been to is the Roval. I've only been once. That was the only road race I've been to. First off, I think it was entertaining because obviously I was there. Our seats were right where Truex and Jimmy got together coming to the checkered, and that's exactly why I wanted to get the seats right there, because I just, right when I saw the track map and was getting my tickets, I'm like, this is where the last lap incident's going to happen, coming to the line. And sure enough, I was right. I called it. But then in the last 2 years that I watch it on TV, it was just like a snooze fest. All I wanted to do was go to sleep. It was so bad. It was so boring. And I'd much rather be at a road course than to watch on TV. That's for sure.
Yeah, like the Roval was great.
And the Roval, I'm sure that was good on TV in 2018 too, because I mean, you seen what happened there.
Yeah, just from practice, everyone was anticipating that. That was a fun race. I go to Sonoma every year, and I could say those races are boring as shit to watch on TV, but just being at the racetrack's a different atmosphere experience. Doesn't matter what the race holds. The only exciting race you can call is 2016 when Tony won, just because of the finish, but even the rest of that wasn't great. Kyle won 2015 from the last restart. That was cool, but I don't know. I like short track racing, beating and banging. That's how they all started racing, and that dirt race is just it's gonna be a mess. I don't really care what happens that weekend. Kyle's won a dirt race, a late model, like the Prelude in 2012 or whatever year it was.
But, yeah, and I actually got to go down there. That was an awesome time. I wasn't at the race, but I got to see the car. I think it was right around practice time actually, but that was great. Yeah, because that was like what, 2012.
Yeah.
And then 2013 when they got rid of the Prelude and they brought the truck race there. They because Kyle drove the Bloomquist car for the Prelude, and then he had Scott Bloomquist drive his truck for the for the truck race, and he drove like shit. And he was trying to adjust the truck like it was a late model, and the truck was completely off. I just thought it was kind of freaking funny, actually. Guys trying to adjust a NASCAR truck like it's a late model, and it drove horrible.
Yeah. I don't know. NASCAR's gonna say the ratings were up. Oh, and then yeah, they were talking about postponing it, and what came up was Fox is only gonna let it go so long if there's rain in the area because of a game show, and that really got me heated. Like, if Fox prioritized the premiere of a game show that about 50 people worldwide have heard about over the Daytona 500, then I think NASCAR needs to find a different channel. NBC, if they needed to, could move from NBC to NBCSN. And if Fox was going to postpone that race, that would have bothered me. I would have called out for work tomorrow, but I don't know. If they did it because of that game show, then I might have just went to work just so they lost a viewer, because that's pretty bad of them. Their announcers are good, but Fox is just not involved in racing anymore. What sports went away from it?
Yeah, like Fox is horrible I mean, like I said, it has nothing to do with the people in the booth or whatever, but like to this day I still wonder, but the last race I went to before the pandemic kind of broke out was Richmond 2 years ago, 2019, the spring race. I was there, obviously, and so what I did was I recorded the race to watch at home, and I watched the whole race, and then like at the end of the race, they showed Kyle running Brad all the way up, like on the cool down lap at the end of the race. They showed Kyle running Brad all the way up to the wall, pretty much, and that was it. And then they never gave an explanation why. They were kind of just like, oh, we seen this like after the race, and like showed it happening, like Kyle's on board. But they had absolutely no coverage to show why Kyle like did that or anything. Had no explanation. I'm just like, this coverage sucks. Like, that's all you have to show. So now you're getting me curious why Kyle ran Brad up the hill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have no explanation like for why. You can't even show a replay. Like, Brad could have gotten into Kyle like earlier or something. And they can't show any of that. Like, Yeah, I think it's getting worse and worse by the year, by the week.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's nice and convenient how they go to commercial and the caution instantly happens when Bell blew a tire. And yeah, they should for super speedways because of how close the racing is. They should always be side by side during commercials. Um, I don't know if they're gonna go to NBC has more commercials, but they do side by side more often than not. And Fox, I, for I don't know if you've ever seen Formula E, the electric series worldwide. Fox's coverage is absolute shit. They follow the world feed with like Dario Franchitti talking, commentating, and they'll cut midway while he's talking because they have to go to commercial. The race is 45 minutes, starts at 8, literally a 1 hour show. Like they have 5 minutes where some dude just talks over the world feed starting lineup, and then eventually the world feed comes on and they talk, and then they cut him off mid race. Right after the race ends, they don't even interview the driver. They just cut it short, and then you have to hook up some VPN on your phone and stream the Formula E post race on YouTube because Fox doesn't show it. Like, oh yeah, my favorite driver won. Oh cool, coverage is over. And even with NASCAR, like yeah, Kyle wins a race. Oh cool, I get a nice 5 minutes of post race to enjoy it. NBC, they stopped doing victory lap last year, but they have a solid like a half hour at least of post race. Like today was the 500. I don't know because it ran long. You could say that's why, but they have like an average of like 15 minutes of post race, and they leave like the the pre-race got cut. Pre-race got screwed when speed left, and the other day I tweeted. You remember John Roberts from Speed?
Yep.
I tweeted saying nothing like nothing like the first rain delay of 2021 to make me miss John Roberts and get tired of Shannon Spake. Shannon Spake actually liked that tweet, and I felt bad, but at the same time, it's like Fox gets rid of the wrong people. Like Jeff Hammond's been there forever. They are to him. I don't think Matt Yoakum's gone, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, like I met him right before they cut him. They're cutting the wrong people. Like I thought Boyer's pretty good today, but I don't know. Regan Smith, they just got like their what's it called? They got that. They don't have any. I miss Dick Bergeron. You could say I'm old fashioned, but I just I don't I feel like it was working, and Larry made the decision to leave the booth, which is fine with me. I'm glad he's still involved, but
Bob Dillner was a good guy too.
yeah, I watch him on Mav TV. He's pretty.
Yeah,
Good.
I was gonna say I think he's with Mav now because the reason I knew that was because I watched a
Chili Bowl.
I think it was when Chili Bowl. I didn't honestly I couldn't watch much of the Chili Bowl. Yeah, I think because of work, but when they did the I think it was the late model races down there at East Bay, or they had a big late model race somewhere, and Bob Dillner was doing the stuff. That's actually how I found out he was with Nav. But I met him. I actually met him at Chicagoland, 2014. Real nice guy.
Chris Neville, he was all right, but I could see why they got rid of him. NBC, I don't know. Adam Alexander, I really liked him when he was on TNT. I used to not hate. I didn't care for Kyle Petty when he was in the booth, but now when TNT left, like in 2014, I really started to miss them. Like TNT's coverage was crap, but just the theme, like the interest, the TNT ACDC theme was great. You don't appreciate these announcers until they're gone. Like Wally Dallenbach was all right. I I missed the combo those three. Like I Adam was on the grid at Sonoma in 2014. And he was walking up to go to the booth, and he stopped and talked to me for like a couple of minutes, for like a minute, and eventually I got to meet him last year or 2019. But I don't know. It's not the same vibe with the people supporting him in the booth, and Like I haven't listened to Tony yet. That should be interesting from yesterday, but I don't know.
Um, I think the biggest name that I'll be missing around is when NASCAR was with ESPN, like around, well,
Alan.
ESPN always covered, yeah, Alan Bestwick.
Yeah.
That was like one of my all-time favorites, and I think ESPN covered like all the Xfinity races, but when Chase time came around, they switched over to Cup,
Yeah.
and yeah, Alan was one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. People bash Rick Allen a lot. I don't think he's that bad, but if they had to replace him, Alan Bestwick has to be the one that I want. He toward the end of the ESPN days, you could say he was all right. I mean, but then you look back at the 2001 when Junior won at Daytona, and it's like, man, these legendary guys are just getting tuned out like it's nothing. These companies, Fox doesn't care about. They don't care about racing anymore. They're just trying to make a profit. Like they don't care if they get the racing in. They care about the viewership. And viewership. You sit and watch 4 hours of pre-race when the sun's out, and then the race starts at 3 p.m. and starts raining. Like I'm on the West Coast. I woke up at 8 a.m. to watch pre-race. The fans who are dedicated to NASCAR are gonna wake up. They shouldn't care about the average viewer. The average viewer isn't gonna watch NASCAR anyway. Basketball's on. Football just ended. There's always something people can watch, and now they don't even show half the races on Fox. I remember all it used to always every race used to be on Fox, and now like half of them are in FS1. I just feel like I don't care who. Like I heard NBCSN's losing their channel, which sucks because their NBC's the good TV, and CBS is going to come. I don't know if they're just going to take part of the season or replace one of the stations, but I don't know.
Hell, I was super surprised that they even televised practice and qualifying for this past weekend. Just because, I mean, I know how bad it's like starting to get. That's why I asked you, I think in our last episode was, you were mentioning practice and stuff. I'm like, is it televised? Because I'm like, I don't know, the person I kind of have responsible in my group for posting schedule and times and stuff is kind of like falling off. Don't ever hear from him much. So
I make a weekend schedule of all the races I watch, and NASCAR's always in it. So maybe I should just send you that.
Yeah, or I could actually, well, I can even probably make you some semi in charge of the group, because everybody I have in there doesn't even really act like they're a part of it. So they don't really do their parts. Like I used to do a race thread every race where we go in there and talk like the race and the comments and stuff, but it's been tough for me, especially since I've had a job. I mean, because I was doing a lot of that when I was staying at home with my son, but now it's just hard to do it anymore. It's hard to do everything in the group because I got my son, I got work, and then you know what I mean. Coming home, watching the race, that's all I really want to do is watch the race instead of screw around on social media the whole time. But
yeah, like I'm 19 right now. I'm still living with my grandparents, so I'm still under their house. And for some reason, they don't want to get me cable in my room. So I bought YouTube TV where I can DVR the races while I'm at work, and now I'm watching them at home because it's like my cousin would come over and he's watching the TV in the living room where I would watch the race. And when I come home and want to watch TV and turn off what he's watching, my grandfather doesn't really like that. So it forced me to do something where I can watch in my room. And like, I made a schedule. I follow all the NASCAR series, ARCO, F1, Formula 2, Formula E, Supercross, IndyCar, name it. And I make a schedule of every session, practice, qualifying, race, what channel it's on, what time it is. And I put check marks by it. And it's like my goal to check off as many boxes as I can. Like ARCA, they don't televise qualifying and practice, so I have to X them out. Like literally Supercross was last night. I watched the races because it was like a half hour after it started live. And then after that, I watched qualifying just so I could check it off the box. I watch pre-race for Xfinity race. I know the finish too, just because I want to check off the box. And right, like it's gonna this. I'm watching Xfinity race right now. It's gonna end at like 2 a.m. But as long as I can check off that box, and I don't know, when I work, it's getting like harder to make the schedules too. But I still find time for that. I print them out. My printer doesn't have the right ink, and now apparently my computer's black and white. So I literally printed the schedule at work using my manager's my color printer, just so I can have it at home, check off the boxes, and Xfinity's the last deal. So yeah, I'm pretty dedicated to these schedules, trying to watch as much as I can. During the rain delay, I watched the truck race when I got home Friday night, and I watched truck qualifying during the fucking rain delay today, just so I can check off the box. So I don't know. All I got right now is working, racing, and that's just because they have practice and qualifying this weekend. Like next week, when it's just the races, it'll be a lot easier. But yeah, YouTube TV is a good buy.
The only thing I have to really catch up on is the rest of the pre-race stuff from today, but there's really not much of that left. I kind of really just fast forwarded to really what I wanted to watch before the race started, because I knew they were making announcing and stuff when they were going to come back to the cars and stuff. Oh, did I go off your screen?
Yeah, you're back on.
Okay?
1 second.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fast forwarded to the Kyle and Clint interview, because that was the one thing I was looking forward to.
Yeah, they botched that.
It's kind of short and sweet, but at the same time, it was kind of cool. And then
no, they interviewed Kyle. They interviewed Kyle, and they talked about how Clint's GoPro footage was terrible, and they got like 30 seconds of footage. Like I thought the interview was gonna be like 5 minutes. It was like a minute.
Yeah.
They showed more on the FS1, like little intro to the feature, than the actual feature itself.
And then the piece they did on Newman too, where they actually talked to Newman's parents and stuff. That was kind of like, that kind of gave me like goosebumps again. And then
yeah, I got pretty emotional watching that.
Yeah, it really, I got pretty emotional just like hearing from his mom and dad too. And then when he was starting to tear up just a tad too, just talking about it.
Yeah, a couple of notes on the pre-race features. They were pretty good. That junior feature on 20 years to the 500, when that happened, I feel like that was a little too scripted. Like they could have left him to say what he wanted about it, and I felt like he was reading off the script. It was pretty easy to tell. One of my favorite, it was like a 2-minute feature, but when Michael was sitting in the grandstands and talking about the finish, like I watched Blink of an Eye. I love that. I watched The Day, Dale Earnhardt. They posted like, I don't know, 2012 or something. That's one of my favorite features. And yeah, apparently there was a E60 today about Dale Earnhardt. I recorded that on my TV. I gotta watch that. But I watched like the last 10 minutes, and it was pretty good. I missed the crash part. I got to like them talking about safety and Rockingham and everything. But yeah, their features were good. I liked how, you could call me bad for saying this, but it was nice to see the features when like Jamie or the announcers would go to where the drivers are and just talk without, just being able to see the drivers without masks was nice for a change. Felt like normal watching features from their homes again.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really nice.
One other thing I saw, what kind of bothered me, you got Luke Combs. I like to country music. It's whatever. Seeing him perform, it's nice to feel that Daytona vibe. What pissed me off was when I saw him on the grid pre-race, but they don't let the drivers' wives on the grid. Like they're literally chilling with them in the motorhome, but they can't go to the grid. and that kind
Yeah.
of points out that NASCAR is just trying to like make it for show that they're following guidelines, but I don't know. Kyle's picture with Samantha at the snowball derby, or yeah, it was like the first picture I've seen with them together, and it sucks that they can't go to the. I understand
Yeah,
the kids, but the wives, come on.
That's the first and more than likely the last of 2021.
I know.
Is yeah. I mean, I mean, I'm glad that they kind of get to come in and go now, because I know when COVID shut everything down at first off the get go, then nobody was absolutely allowed to go anywhere. Like with the drivers, the wives and the kids weren't allowed to travel with them at all, because like Kyle said in that interview I was telling you about on YouTube, was he was talking about, I think that was the very first that was the first episode or whatever they did with him, was they were talking about how COVID like changed his season, or affected his like routine and everything for what he does. And he just said really the only difference was not having Brexton and Samantha with him. He said it just was like also a lot less travel. He said I'd actually leave. He said I'd actually leave on race day, get to the track, and then come home right after the race. So it was just a lot less travel than.
Yeah, I bookmarked that. I bookmarked that whole like that all those features. I'm gonna binge watch them, but I thought I heard something that said him and Samantha had to go to counseling because of the miscarriage, and I wonder how much being away from each other 2020 was like. Kyle wasn't himself the latter half of 2019 because of the miscarriages. In 2020, the same deal was going on, and he couldn't even spend time with her. So that had to be really hard on them. And she did a Q&A on Twitter. I saw you tweeting at her. I don't know how much she answered, but I want to know when the time's going to come when we hear progress on how the IVF is going, that process right now.
Yeah, okay. So I was gonna kind of bring that topic up too, to actually talk about it for a few minutes in this episode. But yeah, like that's what I really didn't want to like think about it like that, but I don't know if it was you I was talking to or somebody else. I think I'd actually made a post or a tweet or something about it, like around the late 2019-ish, early 2020 period. You know, I made a post that was basically saying that I was worried about him. Like I knew deep down inside, just like every time they like showed him on TV or like just talked to him in general, like he just seemed like really off. Like even on the radio, you could just tell on the tone of his voice, like he just really wasn't. He wasn't the same Kyle. And like I was just concerned. I had made a post that said something's going on. Like we need to, like us Kyle fans or whatever race fans or whatever, need to come together and like say a prayer that everything's like fine. Because I felt like something was like way off. And then now after listening to these interviews, it's like I know what was way off now. But I mean, I just, it's kind of something that I want to give, like I want to give her and Kyle props, you know, for just like publicly releasing it like that, because like that's a lot of people that's a lot of stuff right there that like people wouldn't even want to admit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I personally don't want to admit that me and my wife have been to counseling, but we have, you know, just because deep down inside that makes me feel like there's something wrong with me, like I got issues or whatever. And I don't like, I'm pretty like, I don't know what you call it, like I can't think of the word right now. It's like it's like super late and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like not all there. I'm like not all there, but what do you call it? Like when you think like there's something wrong with you, or that there's like you're like super
Insecure.
Absolutely.
I am.
I'm like I'm like super insecure about like literally everything. Like thoughts like that. Oh, I've been to counseling because there's something wrong with me, or like there's anything that really happens in life or anything that goes bad in my life, I think there's something wrong with me. I'm just like super insecure about it. But yeah, that's just me. Um, but yeah, I'm just like I give them props though for like telling the public that, because now we know that what was going on at that time period, because I was actually really worried about it at that time. I knew he was acting different. She was kind of different too. I kind of had a feeling that the miscarriage had something to do with it, but I didn't know they did counseling and all that till like here recently.
Yeah. What's it called? Remember that drunk Brian France Twitter handle? Guy that would treat
Yes.
he would post rumors and most of the time they were true. Well,
Yeah.
around I think it was around the start of the playoffs in 19. He tweeted saying because his thoughts on why Kyle was off was because he was cheating or something, and I was worried during the whole time that that might be real. And then like Martinsville, he gave the interview to the press, and I'm like, there's something wrong with him. And then the second I heard during the championship speech about the failed attempts, I instantly knew that statement was false and that um, that's what the problem was. And I'm pretty sure that account is pretty sure Brian France like sued that account or something. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that happened because people are trying to destroy relationships. Samantha, anytime she tweets, they got people tweeting gifs of Monster Energy girls, and I don't know. It's pretty brave of these drivers to share their personal life on social media,
Yeah.
especially with the
Right.
fan base we got, because fan base is shit. It always will be. Not Kyle's fan base, just NASCAR. It's just the same people. The same people that hate on Kyle are the same ones who talk shit constantly about Bubba and what he's fighting for. Everyone's got their own
Yeah.
beliefs, and people can't accept that someone else doesn't think the same way they do.
Like I had a bunch of opinions and stuff, like, because it was before the real truth came out and yada yada yada. But when the whole racism and thing broke out last year with the pandemic, and then they had the noose situation. Like I had so many I was kind of like 50-50 on it, like, yeah, it's real, and now it's not real, and it's like, I don't know. But truth came out, regardless though, is that this is how I feel about it. Is I feel like Bubba is that person that just wants to go out there and freaking drive a race car, man. Wants to win races. Like I could just see it in his eyes. Like I maybe didn't see it much when he was with Richard Petty, but now, like this past week, like I could just see it in his eyes. He wants to do the best he can for this team. And, I've been saying all night, if it wasn't Kyle or Bell, that he'd be the driver I wanted to see win.
Same here. My top three this year are Kyle, Bell, and Bubba.
Yep.
And what bothers me is everyone's calling it a hoax, and he had nothing to do with the report that it was found in the garage stall. Like he wasn't even allowed in the garage stall. In June last year, drivers sit in their motorhomes or their cars and they go straight to the grid. And during the year last year, following Lewis Hamilton, my favorite F1 driver, he's fighting for racism. And it's like these drivers have millions of people watching them. Who's going to take a stand? The person sitting on their couch, or the person that has millions of people watching them, trying to make change while doing something they love. And like Bubba, I love the opportunity with Michael Jordan because there's no black owner. There's one black driver. They're together, and I really hope that they're successful. They make the playoffs this year. Last year, I wanted to get the Black Lives Matter card just because it's something you want to own in years to come when you look back at this year, 2020, and I put his both scales on my eBay watch list, and then I went to Target the next day and so happened to find the small one, so I got it.
I have the small one as well. Yeah, from Target. And right around the time that all that broke out with him too, I'm just like, you know what? I just want to go out. I told my wife, I said, I just want to go out and buy a Bubba Wallace car just to say that I'm buying something to support. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm really close to pulling the trigger on a DoorDash 2311 hat.
Like I got the I think it was the Air Force car, like the shark themed paint scheme or whatever, the gray car. I got that one, and then I have the Black Lives Matter car. That I think that was the time I went to Target and I had like an overhaul on like cars because they had just like released the new wave and they had like one of each of those cars in the wave, and I'm like, oh dude, I'm getting like, because usually like we'll just say on the 24s I strictly collect Kyle and that's it.
Yeah,
either that or the Bell. Like I have yet to own a Bell, Christopher Bell 20 car, but I want to, like, from the Xfinity. But the only thing I have right now on 24s is Kyle, and I think I have Bell's. I've got Bell's championship truck. I've got Gregson's Safe White autographed truck. And I've got I don't know if I have another truck or not, but regardless, almost everything I have is Kyle. So I got, that they had released that wave, and there was like a Haley Deegan car, a Ryan Newman's car, which I'm eventually gonna put that one with my display. I don't know if I ever told you my plans on that or not, but did I?
I'm not. I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna because we're gonna be in the middle of a move this week anyway, but I'm gonna try to get my room set up over there, and I have this guy that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send him a Newman diecast, and he's gonna
make the Daytona version. I remember that.
He's gonna make the Daytona version, and I'm also gonna buy just a standard one to have sent to me. I'm kind of gonna do like a before and after display, and I'm gonna have pictures printed out from when he was in the hospital with his daughters and stuff, and it's kind of just one of those things to just kind of look at and be like, that car saved his life, kind of like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I really want to make a display of all my diecast, but I just don't. I got to move out and have my own racing room. I want a room. I don't know if you follow Eric Estep on Twitter, but he posted about like how he's gonna watch the race, and he was like a NASCAR gaming layer, and his diecasts are all lined up, and it's like I have so many Kyle wins. I want a display case on the shelves. I want to eventually. I don't know about 164s, but have them all on shelves instead of the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Dust is going to be a bitch, but I'll worry about that when it comes. But I don't know. I'm far from selling any of these cars. People make profits of them, but yeah, people sell them. I'm the one who buys them, and I really went off on buying Kyle wins during the off season. But then I got to a point where I kind of just slowed down and stopped, and yeah, I don't know. I'll get what wins I can find, but it's not urgent. There's other stuff that my money goes towards, and yeah, like I'm purchasing cable. That's something more worthwhile to spend my money on. I'm saving for a car. I want a dirt bike, and yeah, I'm not as easygoing with my spending of money as I used to, and
yeah.
I always get small 164s. It bothers me they're raising the price of them, but yeah, Kyle's throwback came out in authentics, and I want to buy that online, but it's too pricey, and I'm waiting for the Lionel version to come out.
I'm looking for it, like at Target and Walmart, because they just released that one in the new wave too, didn't they?
Yeah, it's $4 at Walmart, Target, and it's 15 online. So
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly why I'm. I think at this point in time, it's kind of too late. Like you'd think they'd sold out like worldwide, but I've been trying to get someone to try to be looking for a championship hauler for me, because I'd rather get it for $15 than what Gibbs has theirs listed for 40. I'm just like, dude, that's like nearly a $25 difference.
yeah, it's gonna be hard to find them for that price. That's how much they are on eBay now too.
And they also, with this wave too, they also have a Darlington throwback hauler. I don't know if you've seen it, but
Kyle?
yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't.
It looks pretty sick. It's on JGR's website.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I want to. Part of me wants to get just his race wins, 124s, and part of me wants to get like every one that comes out. I'm not sure about that because I don't have enough space for what I got now. But the haulers, I have 2 haulers from 2009, and I haven't really. I fell off. Like they stopped making them. I stopped collecting them, and then when they came back and started making them, I just haven't gotten any. I want to get a Kyle one, but they're all expensive now. I want to get his 200 wins and his championship one.
I have the 200 wins, and I get the 200 wins, and I have the actual like real hauler. You know what I mean? The real design.
Is that a custom made?
No, it was actually they sold them at Walmart's, I think, but I ended up getting mine online. It looks just like the real hauler, and then I got the Skittles Dips hauler.
Yeah.
And I think that's really it right now. And then I got the 200 wins Authentics, the small car. The only thing I don't have with the 200 wins is the 124.
Wow, I never knew they made the normal hauler. It's 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I consider that an up-to-date hauler because the hauler, like the design of it really hasn't changed.
No, same with the car.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I have the 200 wins flag. I've got the 64, the hauler. All I need is the 24. But they're pretty expensive now because Lionel sold out, and the only place you're gonna be able to find one is, I mean, someone's usually always selling one, but they want a pretty penny for it.
I'm kind of pissed. I ordered Gregson's Daytona win for $90 total with taxes and bullshit. And then I like look it up just because I want to look at the car itself, like the diecast. Then I see Bass Pro Shops selling it for $54. I ordered it on Thursday, and the guy still hasn't shipped it yet. So I'm pissed that the guy's not shipping it, that I paid that much, and if I have to go through the whole canceling process, it's gonna take a fucking month before I get my money back. So I don't know. I just kind of have to bite the bullet. I message him saying, "When are you gonna ship this shit?" And he hasn't responded yet. So I just want it to come by next weekend. I knew it wasn't gonna come for this race, but I don't know. Every time I pull the trigger and buy something, I find it for cheaper. I bought Kyle's Homestead win for like $75 right when it came out because it was already expensive and hard to find. And then I find it for 65 and 5 minutes later. It's like, why do I try?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, that pretty much concludes this week's podcast. I mean, pretty heated after the race. Not much positive to say. That's just how the night after the race goes. Glad he's all right. McDowell's in the playoffs, so that bothers me. But easy first round exit. At least we don't have to worry about Jimmy 2.0 on the bubble at the cutoff. But yeah, it's all around bad day. You wait 6 hours for rain. you wait 3 hours of sun during pre-race, and then you watch your driver get crashed and end up in flames with the car on top of him on the last lap in a race that you've never won. So,
And
final
it's not
takes.
fun. I think it's just the negative energy from tonight, just kind of typical with me. That's always usually how I've always been, but I usually always look at stuff like that. That's just me being a passionate fan. That's just he's upset, the fan base is upset. And I guess that's all I could say. All I could really say is we just finished race 1, so move on to the next week. We have a whole year ahead of us. Hopefully I'm just really hoping it's better than last year, because last year was total ass. So I'm just hoping that we're actually capable of getting 5-6 wins this season instead of just 1 or 9. So like you said, I hate to think about it this way, but the last time we won the Clash, we went off to win 1 race, and that was it. But I'm not gonna think like that. But yeah, I mean that's really a wrap on what I have to say. We got the Daytona road course next week, bringing out the Interstate Batteries car. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Running the Interstate Batteries car at the Daytona road course next Sunday. So hopefully color green means money. So hopefully that means get back to victory lane. That'd be nice. So
Yeah, it needs to save that green for St. Patty's Day in a couple weeks. Yeah, but
Yep.
my final thoughts. This week's over. Next week's another wild card. One of 3 things is going to happen. He's either going to have a non-eventful top 10, or he's going to get a tire rub on a restart and get fucked, or he's going to lose the brakes like he usually does at road courses nowadays. So thank you all for joining us. Anyone, particularly Rowdy Nation, because they think like we do, feel free to shoot us a DM on Twitter, Instagram, Nick18 Racing, Gavinator18. Join the podcast, usually always post race. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week at the the Daytona road course.